Hello and welcome again to the Bench Report, where we discuss recent debates and briefings from the benches of the UK Parliament. A new topic every episode. You're listening to Amy and Ivan. Today we're looking at a debate that took place in Westminster Hall, and it was focused on something crucial: the massive systemic barriers that autistic adults face when trying to find employment. We're going to get straight into the evidence that was presented.
And the statistics, right from the start, they just paint a very bleak picture. Only 34% of disabled people with autism are in a job. Now, compare that to the figure for all disabled people, which is 55%, so there's a huge gap. But the truly critical number, I think, is this. 77% of unemployed autistic people say they really want to work. The will is absolutely there.
That 77% figure is just. It's incredibly high, and it underscores the frustration we heard in the stories that MPs shared from their constituents. The core problem that was identified is that employment practices are still relentlessly one size fits all.
And that size, well, it's just too small for neurodivergent needs. Just look at the story of Bradley from Marple. He's highly capable, reliable. He even volunteers as a digital champion, yet he's applied for over 100 paid jobs.
Over 100. And this is the infuriating part of his story. He passes the tests, he performs well in interviews, but the rejection he gets back is always the same. That polite brush off, we have another candidate who we feel best suits the post.
Yeah.
When that happens 100 times, it's clearly a systemic failure. It's not about him anymore. And the inconsistency is shocking. We heard evidence that success or failure can depend entirely on a single manager, not the organization's overall capability. There was this one case, a constituent with a master's degree working in the civil service. In their first role, they just crashed. Total burnout. They were put on a performance plan that took absolutely no account of their communication needs or how they processed information.
It's a tragic story, but it also provides this immediate stark contrast. Because when that same person got a second, less senior role in the very same department, the difference was profound. The onboarding was structured, and they were actively encouraged to share their communication preferences with colleagues. And with that one minimal adjustment, they thrived. They became a high-performing, valued member of the team.
So internal best practice can clearly work, but when we look at the external support systems, the ones designed to help people get into work in the first place, that's where the picture gets really dark, specifically around the Access to Work scheme.
For anyone who might not know, Access to Work is the government grant scheme that's supposed to pay for practical support and adjustments someone might need in the workplace. But the debate was just full of stories about how badly it's operating.
Exactly. We heard about Katie, who struggled massively just to get funding for a virtual assistant after her caseworker retired. The bureaucracy just became suffocating. Her mother described the process with a clarity that, it really sticks with you. She said navigating it was like asking someone in a wheelchair to get out and walk up the stairs. That just says everything about the friction in a system meant to help.
And that experience is widespread. MPs were united on this. They were calling for a root and branch rebuild of Access to Work. They said it's just not fit for purpose. People are facing months, sometimes years of delays, and that directly leads to job offers being withdrawn. They called for clear targets for processing times and for dedicated neurodiversity teams within the scheme itself.
And there's a powerful economic argument here that's so often ignored. This isn't just about social justice. It's about an untapped national asset. When autistic people are matched correctly to roles that use their skills, things like sustained concentration and incredible attention to detail, employers see productivity improvements that range from 45% all the way up to a staggering 145%.
145%. That's not a social issue. That's a massive market inefficiency we are actively maintaining. And the independent Buckland Review identified the core problem here. The responsibility, the onus, currently falls almost entirely on the autistic employee to identify, define, and then advocate for every single adjustment they need.
That responsibility needs to shift. It needs to move decisively to the employer. Businesses need guidance, which is why there was such a strong call for a central online hub of best practice to help them move away from that one-size-fits-all mindset.
Ultimately, I think the debate really highlighted the immense emotional toll these systemic failures are taking. For so many, the difficulty isn't actually being autistic. It's having the world around them fail to understand what they need to succeed.
And there was one quote from a constituent that just summarizes that emotional cost perfectly. I can cope with being autistic. I can't cope with being disbelieved. It really challenges us all to think about what we sacrifice when we allow disbelief to outweigh simple accommodation. As always, find us on social media at Bench Report UK. Get in touch with any topic important to you. Remember, politics is everyone's business. Take care.
Hello there, this is Tom, the producer of The Bench Report. Listener suggestions are vital to my mission of making politics more accessible and accountable. So, if you have an issue that's really important to you, personally or professionally, and want to know what those in power are doing about it, please get in touch via email or via our socials at Bench Report UK. I'll grab another coffee and start scanning those parliamentary archives.